I'm not going to let him. You're so loud. Okay, anyways. I hope you guys are all surviving quarantine as much as I am. Okay, anyways. So let's go ahead and let's get started here. So I wanted to give you a couple of overviews really quickly and this is me trying to find that TikTok. If I find the TikTok, I will send it to you because it is very good. It is quite funny. But I wanted to go over really quickly a couple of things before we get started on actual stuff. I thought you might want a little bit of an update of some stuff I heard today in faculty meeting. So every Monday we have faculty meeting, which is when I get all the good tea from the school and like what's going on and things like that. So graduation is the only major thing that we were told about. There's actually something else to that. I think about it. I know some of you, and I don't know if we have our two seniors on this or not. So they sent out a survey last week to all the parents, and that survey asked what would they suggest doing for graduation this year. And it was suggested by, I think they said 80 to 90% of respondents said that they would rather push back graduation till the end of the summer. So there would be nothing that would happen in May. Everything would be in August. And then you would go to the Huntsman Center just like normal and do different things like that. That was what the suggestion was. However, Mr. Bingham brought up several points. The most important point being we have no idea if quarantine is even going to end by the end of the summer. And so because of that, what it appears that it will be, and this will be confirmed over the next 2 days, so watch out for graduation stuff. But it does appear that they are going to be going to a system where we will have a virtual graduation at the end of May, and then we will have an in-person graduation attempted at the end of the summer, is I believe what they are going to. And then supposedly they are sending out a survey to all the seniors today or tomorrow. So if you're a senior, make sure that you respond to that if you want to have an opinion on what should happen with your graduation. I too hope that we don't have a quarantine. We've started to lift some of the restrictions. It's not necessarily quarantining at the house. What the big issue is, are we going to be able to have large in-person meetings? So for example, you might have heard that the NBA said that they are going to try to return this Friday, but that they are going to not have people at stadiums during the game. So it would be fanless stadiums. So in theory, what would happen is that the last thing that's going to be lifted is large in-person gatherings such as graduations, sporting events, theme parks, things like that. That'll always be the last, including graduation. So who knows? But again, my suggestion would be make sure that you are, if you get a survey, take the survey so that people know what's going on. So that's one thing. The other thing that I think might be important to several of you, and you guys received an email about this, but I also understand that none of you read the district emails. But there was an email that was sent out last week that we just found out about as teachers that basically said that, so we have this week, next week, third week, which is May 11th through the 15th. That's AP test week. We were told that the district has now said that the final week of school, so that's like May 17th-ish to the 22nd, is supposed to be no assignments. So that final week of school is only supposed to be to make up work. And then we were also told this morning that Mr. Bingham would suggest to us that the week of May 11th through the 15th has no new assignments. So in theory, what that means, and this is not official, so don't quote me on it, but it appears that the last assignments for grades will be through next Friday. And then after that, we'll have 2 weeks to be able to make up work and different things like that. It is not a requirement, however, for the May 11th to the 15th week. It is just suggested by Mr. Bingham. So the final week is required that no assignments are supposed to be given, but the week of May 11th to the 15th is suggested, which is what I was going to do anyways. Which I think here's the best thing about that. That's the week of AP week. So AP exams start May 11th. So in theory, the 2 weeks of AP exams, you won't have any assignments. Now, we will still have optional stuff where we will be, doing practices and stuff like that, similar to this, where you can attend if you want. But teachers were told today, please do not do assignments starting May 11th, suggested, and definitely not May 17th and on. What do we even do the last week? The email from the district said review, reflect, gather virtually, And I think they also said make up all late work. So basically it's a freebie week. We will probably have an A-push party or something along those lines and different things like that we'll have that final week. We'll do something. We won't just like leave you guys hanging. But we are not supposed to give any new assignments or projects or anything like that. It is, according to the district, it is just a week to make up stuff. And the biggest reason why is because our grades are supposed to be posted on May 27th. So we just have to make sure everything is together. And right now we have about 100 people at the school that have not done anything, like have not turned in a single assignment, haven't logged into Canvas or anything like that. And right now I think they said it's a very small percentage, but I would say in each of my classes personally, about 5 to 8% of students are failing. So the idea to get them to passing and things like that. And yeah, I was thinking it'd be fun to have a party and everybody could bring food. Tracy can bring her noodles and then we can all be able to hang out and stuff like that. I think that would be really fun. But we will see when we get there. Okay. So anyways, I think that's pretty much all that we really learned. I think that everybody kind of understands the new grading system and things like that. Again, if you are wanting letter grades, please make sure to submit that. Oh, I remember one thing. If you are in concurrent credit, you will be receiving a letter grade no matter what. So there's no pass-fail for concurrent credit classes. I had some people ask me, what is a concurrent credit class? You would know if you're in a concurrent credit class because you have to sign up through Slick and UVU. So you would know if that's you. But just know there is no pass-fail. So if you're failing those classes, please fix that. If you want to have letter grades, you send an email either to Miss Lovato, who is in the main office, Mr. Bingham, any vice principal, or you can send a letter through the mail. You can also go in person, but you can have to call and set up a scheduled time to be able to come in because they have to maintain, I think it's only 10 people who are not staff in the building at any time. So you can opt for a letter grade, and a lot of you guys are already choosing to do that. I think they said that 1/5 of our student body has already requested to have letter grades. Personally, if it were me, if I knew I needed a letter grade. So for example, I have a student that is being scouted right now for college wrestling. And he was told by the NCAA that he could not have pass-fail on his transcript. So he will have to have a letter grade. If you are in sports and you're thinking that you might get scouted, you might want to look into that because that's what he was told. And he wasn't going to some big fancy college. He was going to a JC and he was told that the NCAA required letter grades instead of pass-fail. Another thing to consider too, if you're going to an Ivy League college, Harvard and Yale did say that they would be more malleable with pass-fail grades. I wouldn't trust it unless I actually contacted them and had them in an email. So I had paper record in case something were to happen, them saying you could have pass-fail. And then scholarships is another one. Some scholarships, if you have pass-fail, you're exempt from. And then the other situation as well would be for college admissions. So again, some universities do not want pass-fail, especially more elite universities. And if you have any questions of what that would benefit you, just let me know. I've also heard IB program has to meet a certain GPA. And so if you're one of those people, you might want to consider a letter grade too. So if you did an online class through UOE, how do you do those credits to Granite? Will they go over automatically or have to send them? I actually don't know about UOE because I do the Granite online. So I'm not 100% sure, but my understanding is that all online schools that have been online the entire year will still be online only. So my understand is that you will still get a letter grade and that you will not receive a pass-fail for that because you've been online. That's what Granite's doing, is all Granite online classes are still letter grades because they've been doing that the full year. But I would contact them individually. The deadline for asking for a letter grade, that's a great question. I'm pretty sure you just have to do it by the time grades are due, which is May 27th. But I bet they will accept it into the summer because we were told that students can work in the summer for getting up to passing and different things like that. We were also told that if you did not pass, that we are supposed to start getting ready stuff for you to do to get you to pass over the summer. If you have an A, it's an automatic. Yeah, so how it works is us as teachers, when we put in your grades, we put it in as letter grades, and the system will automatically convert them to pass-fail. And then if you wanted to go in and make them letter grades, they would already have indicated it, so we'll automatically push it onto your transcript as that. So that's what the district says. The district says that it's all tech ready and things like that. I don't know because, you know, the district. But what I will tell you is that they are saying that concurrent enrollment will be automatically posted as a letter grade. People who requested letter grades will automatically have that as well. A lot of this is who the heck knows until we find out. I would not expect anything perfect from the district until it happens because we are all in a brand new thing. Remember the first day of Canvas, earthquake day, and it all crashed? So we just have no idea what tech is going to do until it does it, which is why hopefully none of you have the very first AP exam because we just don't know how well that's going to work out. If you're that, I think it's for us, it's 8 a.m. slot or 10 a.m. slot on that day. Bye, hun. But anyways, so that is one thing I would keep in mind. Also, Wednesday, they are having a teacher webinar, and they are going to run us through what your AP exam will look like. So look for some sort of an announcement from me either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. They are going to post the simulation, practice exams, allegedly starting on Wednesday. And I have that webinar, I think it's at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. And it will go through everything of how the exam works, what it's going to look like, and things like that. Okay? All right. Anybody have any questions about general world like stuff? So what about grades in this class? When will those go in? Well, so I took a break this weekend from grading because I actually went up into the mountains this weekend. But my plan is to have all the grades updated tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be my mega day where I'm going to go like super crazy. The DBQ is actually not out of 11. It's out of 10. That's been adjusted. It, for some reason, counted a point for the pre-write. And so because it counted a point for the pre-write, it made it out of 11, but that's already been adjusted to 10. You will also see another assignment that has now gone in. It is called Period 8-9 Exam Adjustment. That adjustment is, I'm going to be doing that. It has nothing to do with you. So if there's no grade, the only people who have a 0 are people who didn't do the exam. What that's going to do is you already have an exam in gradebook that's worth 62 points. This exam is only worth 10 because that's the rubric. The adjustment will allow me to push up the grades to where it needs to be equal weight compared to the last exam, because if not, it's useless. So it'll be adjusted. Again, I'm updating all the grades. I'm judging National History Day today after this, so I'm slightly busy today, but I will update all the grades tomorrow. By the way, if you are doing late work, this is the time to stop late work for period 8 and 9. If I were to, so if you are super behind in this class, you're failing, you are at a D, please contact me and I will tell you the priorities, because right now we are 3 weeks away from the AP exam and that needs to be our focus. And yes, you can redo the 8-9 DBQ. More than likely what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I'm going to open it after this week once I have all the grades in. I don't know if I'm just going to leave that last week where you can do all the work you want to be able to make stuff up. I'm not sure. By the way, we also have been having a lot of issues with students who have turned stuff in late and it's not updating in gradebook. So please check that. And you do need to check grades in gradebook, not Canvas, because some of our categories we aren't doing, such as the DWPs, because we're not in school. And I can't change the names or the weights. And so please check gradebook for an accurate version of your grades. For the AP exam, there's 5 documents. 4 get you that 1 point, but you always include 5 so that you have an extra one. So, okay. So I wanted to really quickly overview the review assignments. What if you run out of time and only do 4? In my opinion, I would rather you do 5 and not do complexity if I were to choose. I would always, always, always do 5 and get rid of complexity, because that's 1 point versus several other points. There are retakes available for periods 8-9, except if you're one of my few people who did not take it seriously, which I've already started to contact some of you. You would know if you were one of those people that don't deserve a retake. We had some people that I've been having a very odd thing happen where the same people have been having mysterious tech issues with every single one, or mysterious, I had to go to so-and-so location during the middle of the exam. I'm starting to be a little bit more wary of that, and it's starting to get a little bit frustrating, but you would know if that was you. So you don't have to do complexity, and you can still get a 5 without complexity. The College Board actually said that you can miss multiple points on the rubric and still get a 5. So whatever that means, I don't know. I don't know if that means if you get an 8 out of 10, you get a 5. I don't know if that means you get a 2 out of 10 and you get a 5. I have no idea, but the actual quote was you can miss multiple points on any rubric, on any exam, and still get a 5. I don't know. Okay. All right, so I wanted to go over the review assignments really quick and give you a couple of examples of them. Don't forget that these are all due on Saturday. I already have about 20 of each of these other ones. Obviously, this one, nobody has turned that in because one of the videos is today. So there should have been nobody. There's 2 people that did turn in. There should have been nobody that turned it in yet because you haven't watched the final video. As a quick reminder on the review, so don't forget that you are going to watch 3 videos. One of them has to be the New South because I did not teach that very well, and I'd rather have them teach you because allegedly they're the ones creating the AP exam. And then make sure that you're submitting this into me a quick half page. We've had a lot of people doing, give me half a second. Okay, sorry. I'm waiting for a package I have to sign for, and that was not it. So anyways, so a lot of people have been doing way more than half a page. I don't really care how much you do as long as it's a minimum of half a page. And then you can do extra credit on this as well. What if you watch this news? That's great. I was talking about the fact that it was at 9 a.m. today. And in theory, nobody should have submitted it before today. And I had about 3 submissions from Saturday, which is physically impossible. They actually had an overview of the New South video, but the New South video did not come out until today. So I thought that was a bit mysterious. Anyways, so thematic timeline. So remember on this one, you should have signed up for a section. So here are all the different themes. Here are all the different signups. I had to add a few more because we had a few people that did not get on the list. I wanted to show you a couple of examples that some people did. So here are a few examples that have already been submitted. Remember that these are supposed to be quick reference guides. So basically something that somebody can quickly overview and kind of know the idea of what's happening. Make sure you keep it to 1 page or a maximum of 2. We want to make sure this is something that's easily printable for various people. This one is obviously extremely well done. It is a little bit harder to be able to specifically see, but this could be a really good review for somebody that is looking over the themes. The essay 1-pager, don't forget that on the essay 1-pager, you basically pick one of these essay topics. All of them have been picked, so we should be good to go on the 1-pagers. And then basically what you do is you fill this out. I had a couple of people have a question of how do you rephrase it into the proper sentence structure. Let me know and I can explain to you. Also, I've been noticing that the videos have been giving you LOQs. You can go ahead and use that as well. But again, you can see an example of how they put this together and how they answered it. Make sure it's either going to be a cause and effect, change continuity, or compare and contrast. I just realized I put effect twice. That's my fault. But remember, it should only be one of those. And you can see like this one's explain the causes and effects. That's obviously a causation essay. Then you have your topic 1-pager, which again, you should have signed up for a topic. We have some topics which Civil War, for example, progressives don't really have anybody. So if you're still looking for one, you can go ahead and sign up. Where's it going to find all key terms? There's a lot. There's not really a perfect place, but if it were me, I would review your study guides for your quizzes. That's probably the best place to find all the different terms that you could possibly see, or the ones from each of the periods, which is the ones that we have been working on in our pre-write. So this is an example of somebody's completed one. I like that they had put a couple of the political cartoons that are really popular down here. One thing I did hear some people saying, what is the topic numbers? If you go back to in the themes as well, so topic numbers and themes are right here. The themes are right here and the topic numbers are right here. You just have to copy and paste them over and then you'll be fine. Okay, any general questions about any review assignments or anything like that? Okay. All right, so let's go into period 5 then. So really quickly, here are the 2 topics that are specifically referenced in the CB reviews. Both of them are basically causes and effects of policy debates. This one up here, policy debates in the early republic. They specifically mentioned Jefferson and the market revolution, so you can interpret that as you want. And then continuing policy debates about the role of the federal government. If it were me, this second one is the most likely that you're going to see, because that could be Jacksonian versus Jeffersonian democracy. It could be the expansion of the federal government. It could be going into westward expansion in territories, War of 1812. So I think I would focus this one, and then said specifically Jacksonian democracy and reforms, which reforms doesn't really make sense with this topic, but regardless. And then this one is from period 5, but it goes into this because it starts in the Mexican-American War. So in terms of your master list, so here is the answers to the master list, which again is available online as well if you can't see it very well over here. So early 1800s politics, Jeffersonian democracy. So you go from John Adams through Jefferson. Jefferson leaves the presidency in 1808. So basically very, very early stuff. Industrial Revolution and the Market Revolution. Remember, Industrial Revolution is the creation of inventions. Market Revolution is how did it change the economy. So that's the difference between the two. They have never done a Market Revolution DBQ. They always say every year that this might be it. This might be the year. I personally think that the essay prompt is going to be a period 4 or a period 6 essay. I think it's either going to be immigration or Jacksonian democracy or market revolution. That's what I think. Based on the essay prompts, I think it's either going to be an immigration, changes in politics, or westward expansion. That's what I personally think that is possibly going to be. Post-war of 1812, politics through Jackson. This is basically all the starts. This is all HC up until you get to Andrew Jackson down at the bottom. Again, make sure that you're comparing and contrasting Jacksonian and Jeffersonian democracy. I will show you a chart that I have on here that might help you a little bit. Antebellum reform movements, and then general manifest destiny, westward expansion, ending with the Mexican-American War, which again, our textbook puts the Mexican-American War into our textbook puts it in period 4. Other textbooks puts it in period 5. It doesn't really matter as long as you know it's the 1940s or 1840s, excuse me. So I wanted to show you these charts really quickly, and these are available. I already have the PowerPoint up, so you can just use these. Jeffersonian Jacksonian democracy has always been rumored to be the DBQ. I think this could be a great year for it because it's a large span of time that you could really compare. Both of them are Democratic Republicans, which are the anti-federalists, which in theory would be small government. But the difference is Jeffersonian democracy really is small, keep it small. Only elites should be able to vote, things like that. Agrarian government, fearing the strong central government. So really, I would put this as in terms of Republicans today, the farthest right, the libertarian view is going to be the Jeffersonian democracy. Jacksonian democracy wants a strong central government. So even though their political party is anti-central government, remember Jackson does whatever he wants. So he is going to be really big. And yes, you can put the charts in your binders. They're really easy to be able to find as well. And so I got this one chart that I personally am really in love with. It really goes through every single thing about the differences between Jeffersonian and Jacksonian democracy. And again, this is available on the PowerPoint, so very easy to be able to find. The biggest thing that is Jefferson, small government, Jacksonian, expand the government. And in particular, the idea of the common man. Jackson wants everybody to vote, everybody to part of it, excluding women, African Americans, and Native Americans. So all the white people, and white men. But basically, I would make sure to know the difference. Somebody put, what is the good HC for Jeffersonian democracy? I would put anti-federalists versus federalists, Constitution, what revolutionary ideas of, do we want to go back to a king or do we want a free society? Because really Jefferson doesn't want, he fears, he grew up in the revolution. He fears the idea of another England. And so he wants a very small government. Remember, he fired 80% of the government and then got rid of 90% of the army. He really wanted to get rid of everything. Okay. All right. So from there, let's do our ID practice. So if you want to go ahead and grab out your piece of paper, your pen, maybe your, I don't know what you do, your phone, anything like that. I got a new Hydro Flask, by the way. It has Yellowstone on it. So shout out to National Park System and the progressives. I know, I'm basically a Visco girl, I know. I'm going to get stickers and I'm going to put stickers on it. But this is my hiking hydro flask. My other one is my work hydro flask. I need to separate work and play. Okay. All right. Anyway, so you should have all your stuff out. I do personally think that the terms are easy, but you're going to find it hard because you've forgotten everything that we learned in October of last year. So if you are forgetting these, that's okay. That's why we're doing this whole process, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get started. Here we go. Here we go. It's being very slow. Okay, all right. Number 1. Okay, number 2. This is a general idea on this one. I want to zoom in a little bit more. Okay. All right, number 3. And in particular, what's all this concentration down here? That's what you're trying to figure out. What is all this concentration down here? Number 4. I put this one in because it's fun, so we'll see if you guys remember who these people are. Okay, next. So in particular, what's the agreement being shown in this? What's the agreement being shown in this? Okay, next. What territory are we acquiring in this? Hopefully this one's easy. Okay, next. All right, next. Again, you can't do period 4 without this event. Okay, next. Yes, 6. So, actually, okay, I got more tea for you. There may have been a teacher fight today. I'm not going to tell you who. And I had sent this message, that text out to all my friends. And they texted me back. And they basically said they wanted to duel that teacher because they were very, very angry at that teacher. I'm not going to tell you who it was or what happened, but let's just say people call people swear words, and it was intense. I actually got really mad at a teacher today. I was a little bit sassy, but yeah. Anyways, so they wanted to duel this. We are starting to get very angry at each other. That is definitely true. We are starting to get very cranky with each other, but this teacher got very angry and texted me that they were going to duel this other teacher. And it's a teacher you all know, so I'm not going to tell you who it is. Okay, anyways. Yeah, they've been doing a Hunger Game marathons every weekend, and I'm starting to wonder if that's what's happening here. If the school system fails, then do we all pass? No, because we're not failing. We're actually doing a pretty good job compared to other districts. Although I always do hear the one that says, if somebody dies in your college classes, everybody get A's. That is an urban legend. Okay. All right, next. Actually, most other schools have events where you compete against other teachers. Up in Logan, they have donkey basketball every year. And then all the students bet on the different teachers, and then they take the money and then they donate it to charity. Interesting fact. Okay, next. And if you can't see what this says, this is a set of canals, roads, rivers. So what is this map trying to show you? What's the term? I thought that driver's ed was pass fail. I'm not sure. I think that's fine. I think that what they're concerned about with pass fail is like math classes and things like that, but it really depends on what scholarships you're looking for. Okay, next one, which by the way, I don't know how often you guys see this stuff on social media that's political. This cartoon I have seen a lot very recently, especially with the impeachment and stuff, that it's been redone a whole bunch lately. Again, very commonly missed political cartoon on the AP exam. So if you are doing any topic or anything like that with Andrew Jackson, please make sure this political cartoon is on your topic sheet. Who remembers the song? That was a fun day. I miss you guys. We had so much fun. What if I just failed everybody and then you could all come back next year and we could redo A push and then it'll be just like it was fourth quarter? We should do that. Because then I'll have all of you guys again. That'd be so nice. Okay, next. Yeah, the White House has burned down like 3 or 4 times. And remember, John Quincy Adams' wife, Abigail Adams, she saved the picture of the president. No, it's burned down like probably 3 times, I think, if you were to Google it. I'm pretty sure it burned down 3 times, I think. Remember, there was also one in Philadelphia. Okay, now this one is hard, but it's a very easy term. It just takes some time to look at it. So look at all parts of it, and then you'll know the term. Oh, I think I'm screwing up. Who was John Quincy Adams or John Adams' wife? No, I'm pretty sure it was. No, who was it? No, it's James Madison's wife. James Madison's wife was the one who saved the picture of it. So it's Dolly Madison. I beat Alpetha by half a second, I'm pretty sure. I think I get the win on that one. Okay, next one. So this is specific to the War of 1812. Who is this portraying? It's not the person, so don't try to figure out who the person is. It's an idea. It was on your exam. You've seen this before if you took the period 4 exam. It's an idea of the War of 1812. I know it was a long time ago. I do not have any grapes because I can't feed them to Kyle yet. Next. Something caused this to happen. Okay, next. So this, again, is a bigger, broader term for this idea. Look at all parts and it might be able to help you. Okay, next. Does this include period 6? No, there's nothing in period 6 on here because period 6 is in 1865. Although this cartoon is technically from period 6, but the idea is a period 4 term. We are doing period 4, 1800 to 1848. Okay, next. Okay. Next.
Oh, you're still in lecture?
Yes, I'm still in lecture. It's going to be about 10 more minutes. She's going to die one day. Okay, next. And the term is not the fish papers. Please don't put that on the AP exam. Okay, next. Okay, now you're looking for the term that is underneath this green box. It is a specific area. This one's a hard one. You're probably not going to get it. I'm just letting you know. Okay, next. You're looking for what is this area on the map? What is this area? Don't put Utah. Okay, next. No, don't put Deseret either. Okay, what idea is this one showing? It's very beautiful. Look at all that conquering. Okay, next. All right, next. Now, this one is a specific cause of the War of 1812. So think cause of the War of 1812. I'm sure most of you have completely forgotten about the War of 1812. That's okay, though. I bet you remember one thing about the War of 1812. Two things. Okay, next. Okay, now this one is a hard one, and I picked it because they did it on the AP exam a couple years ago and nobody got it right. This is a specific event. I will give you a hint. Andrew Jackson. Event or policy, Andrew Jackson. This one's hard. But again, I want to show you hard stuff because then on the AP exam it won't be so hard. And if it was a Jacksonian democracy one, this could possibly be on it. By the way, I don't know if you know how DBQs work, but every DBQ is required to have one visual thing. And if it was Andrew Jackson, it would probably be the king one, but anyways. Okay, this one is a term. It is a harder sourcing. Let's see if you can figure it out. It is a hard sourcing. So if you don't know it, that's okay. You tried your best, and that's all that matters. You should write that on your college essay exam, or like essays. I tried my best. Okay, next. Yes, please on the AP exam write, I know this, I just forgot it. That'll totally get it away with it, I'm pretty sure. Okay, next one. All right, next. You probably all got that one. Okay, what is this? This one's also a little bit hard. Don't put land, Tracy. Tracy, do not be a problem student. What is this area called? Oh my gosh, you guys are all being frustrating. Whatever. You guys are just being mean. Okay, next. See, I'm just waiting for the day that you guys are all being serious in what you just wrote. Okay, next. Okay, this one is ultra hard. It is the hardest one in the entire collection. So if one person gets it right, I'll be very happy. You are probably not going to get it right, though. But you can try your hardest. Yeah, they are not social distancing, that's for sure. Oh, that's probably the answer. Sorry. Okay, next. Well, that's the answer, sorry. We'll talk about it later. Okay, next. I'm doing great, guys. Quarantine's working out awesome for me. I'm at the top of my game. Don't put art. Okay, guys, we're not supposed to put answers. Okay. That's okay. We'll forgive you. All right, who can remember this one? We know this one. And it's actually not a turtle, for the record. You should know what it is. It's not a turtle. This cursed Obama. No. Goober. Okay, next. He's so overcome. Okay, next. Okay, this is just in here so you can remember the event. Johnny Horton. Every single person should get this one correct. Just think of what event this is referring to. Okay, next. Please don't put Obama. I bet somebody has put Obama on the AP exam, though, for that. Okay, next one. So for the O Grande, I bet somebody on some exam when it's been there has written Obama instead. Okay, next. What's Obama? He was a president. Sorry we didn't get to learn about him. His last name is Obama. Obama. Okay, next. It does kind of look like Bernie Sanders. You are correct. Okay, next one. Okay, next one. Shout out to Miss Ray not covering up the answers. Okay, next one. Or this one. What event? Yes, there was a fight. It's kind of a big deal, actually. Okay, next. Almost done, by the way. This could be multiple things. I know it's very vague, but also shout out to, look at this. 1, 0, 0. That's how they used to do that. How cool is that? It's not the Titanic. These are being problem students today. Okay, next. Okay, this is an idea and it's very hard. Again, you will probably not get this, but I have it in here because it's an idea. Hint, it has to do with Jackson. Thushar is actually somewhat on the right track, although I don't think that you actually knew that you were on the right track. Okay, next one. I think this is the last one. All right, answers. Okay, correcting utensils. Ready to go. Tracy, how'd you do? Got to make sure that we have Tracy's little put in there. That's how we know. Okay. That usually gives me a signal of how well everybody did. IDKs. Good. Put IDK on the AP exam. They love that when you do it. Oh, you did? Tracy, look at you. Good job, Tracy. 10 stars, Tracy. Okay. All right. So let's go over your answers. Let me know in the chat if you don't know any of them. Okay, election of 1824 and the corrupt bargain. So remember, just as a quick reminder, election of 1824, this is where Jackson, that nobody won the Electoral College, so it went to the House. Remember, our boy Henry Clay agrees with John Quincy Adams that if Clay becomes the Secretary of State, he will throw his support to Adams. Adams wins the presidency, even though Jackson had the popular vote and more electoral votes, otherwise known as the corrupt bargain. Anything to do with Andrew Jackson can be contextualized with 2 things. Number 1, War of 1812, Andrew Jackson, the war hero. Or 2, election of 1824, corrupt bargain, because that made him super bitter and angry and hated everybody and spent the rest of his life hating everyone else. I think very positively of Andrew Jackson, as you can tell. Okay, abolition, get rid of slavery. You can see petition to abolish slavery. Okay, cool. Black belt, which we talked about before. Again, this is where the vast majority of African Americans were. That's what that's showing. Shakers. Everybody remember that? Remember that, everybody? Okay, cool. Just me? Anyways, the shaking Quakers, and they all died. When did they yeet the Atlantic slave trade? That was in 1807, 1808-ish. And remember, it was technically written into the Constitution. That was part of the constitutional agreement, is that they would eventually abolish slavery, which had the negative effect of massively increasing sexual assaults against slaves, internal slave trade, so different things like that. Define yeet. That's a great question. It has many meanings. Oh, I know another word, bet. That's a word that's interchangeable with anything. That's bet. That's what I learned. Okay. This one is the Adams-Onis Treaty. Remember, that is where we acquire Florida down here from Spain. So the Adams-Onis Treaty. Onis was he was somebody in the foreign department. I can't remember if he was the Secretary of State or what it was. Acquisition of Oregon. We acquired it. There you go. Okay. Not the Louisiana Purchase. I did have that on here, but I thought it would be too easy. So obviously I flipped this, which was my fault. But this was supposed to be the Oregon, Mormon, California trails. Basically, westward expansion, manifest destiny, movement west. Look at all these people. Hey, shout out to us. Okay. Next, Burr-Hamilton Duel. Probably will never be on the AP exam, but again, who can't not talk about it? Legendary. Fun fact, they are going to be releasing Hamilton, a Hamilton movie next year with the full Hamilton thing on Disney+. That would be cool. Interesting fact. Okay. Spoil system, Andrew Jackson. This is the American system, Henry Clay, anything along those lines. Andrew Jackson and the general abuse of power that he has. Again, if I think Andrew Jackson is going to be the DBQ, this is more than likely going to be it. Don't sell Disney Plus accounts. They actually had that happen a week after Disney Plus started, and people sold everybody's accounts online. It was really bad. Oh, you're not selling, you're just giving it away? I love Disney Plus. Okay. Yeah, if it's a DBQ on Andrew Jackson, please try to put Henry Clay in there just so you can make Miss Ray happy, please. Okay, burn the White House down. They burned it, and they're the ones who did it. Okay, this one is the Indian Removal Act, Trail of Tears, anything along those lines. Lowell system. So you can see actually down here it says boarding system, Mills Company, New England Textile Mill. All of this is the boarding house. You could have also done industrial paternalism or welfare capitalism. Both would have worked in this as well. What if you said Lowell girls? That's fine. This was the Warhawks. So pro-war, we owe no allegiance to no crown. Go America, we hate England. They suck. That's what this says. Okay, impact of the cotton gin. Boom. Shout out to our group of 4 boys who made the cotton gin. Okay. First Industrial Revolution and Market Revolution. You can see down here it has the steam press, the telegraph, the locomotive, the steamboat. It says Libertine Union Forever. He's actually using a telegraph right here. You have trains, the press, you have the steamboats, all of that showing how great everything is about the the First Industrial Revolution. Monroe Doctrine, again, no trespass, America only, banning Europeans in America. Great Awakening and Revivalism. So again, massive boom. Look at all these religious people. Yay, we all need to have religion again. Lewis and Clark expedition. So again, fish. Interesting fact, by the way, and I can't remember if it was this year or the last year, but I put in this, and I think everybody made fun of me, and then I freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, it's like total. I didn't even realize the pants, and I thought I was wrong. When I was looking into this today, this is from Lewis and Clark's. This was Lewis's journals, and he did write this, and he also made this one over here of this bird smoking. Those are actually real things. Or excuse me, Clark, not Lewis. This is like legit actually thing. And basically what he said is he basically was going crazy, and this is actually legit what he did. So imagine yourself like how you feel in quarantine now. Apparently that's how he felt, where he went so crazy that he said he was seeing bears in pants. So if you just Google bears in pants, Lewis and Clark, you'll find like all these drawings he did of bears in pants. Fun fact. Okay, this is going to be Dorothea Dix. Okay, so insane asylum. They've never done one on antebellum reforms, so I would briefly read over that. Those are all the ones that we did when we did the speed dating. Burned over district, and I know that you guys probably don't remember this, but again, throwing this in there in case it's reform. These are all of the different areas where the all of the new churches popped up in New York. And so the burned over district is basically there was so much new religion, it was burned over. So like when you guys get burnt out, that's what it means. There was so much. So you can see you have the Mormons in here, all these different ones. And if you want an even better one, I found this one today. This is a list of all of the new religious lands and cities that were created within a 20-year time span in the burned over district in New York. So shout out to the fact that hopefully this is never one of your sources on the AP exam, which is exactly why I didn't do this as your original prompt, but I just found this absolutely fascinating. Also, I found out something else today when I was Googling. Apparently they have this is called the burned over district lake monster. And apparently there's a lake monster in the burned over district, and this is what it looks like. So next time you go to New York and you go to visit like Palmyra or things like that, you can go visit the lake monster, and it's called the burned over district lake monster. Kind of wordy in my opinion. But I didn't read the backstory, but I don't know if it was created because of church. Who the heck knows? But go hang out with the lake monster. That's not supposed to be like that. Okay, Mexican Cession. That's what's over here on the left. Westward expansion, manifest destiny. Let's go take everybody's lands without their permission. Texas Revolution. Remember, don't forget the 1830s is the Texas Revolution. The 1840s is the Mexican-American War. Don't get that confused because you're going to get some Texas reader that's going to read your DBQ, and they're going to see that you mix up the two, and then they're going to burn it, and they're going to give you a 0, and you're not going to pass the AP exam. So Texas Revolution is when America begins to go into Texas. They take it over. That's where you get the Alamo, Sam Houston. They acquire Texas, and that's when Texas becomes its own republic, the Republic of Texas. And then in the 1840s, they're getting more pressure from Mexico. They're not financially stable, so they inquire to the American government, who then goes to war with Mexico and officially acquires Texas as an annexation. So Texas Revolution is an HC for the Mexican-American War, or a manifest destiny. Exactly. Okay? It's very common to mix them up, so I totally get it. Causes of 1812, Tecumseh. If you guys remember, Tecumseh was the Native American that basically rebelled as a leader against people in Illinois at Prophetstown. Basically, just in general, the fact that Native Americans liked England better. And so because of that, that's why you have the Creek War in Florida where Jackson killed all the natives because of that. This was Tariff of Abominations and the Nullification Crisis. So you can see it's being weighed down, tariff and taxes and tariff and taxes. Remember, this was the Tariff of Abominations that benefited the North but destroyed the South. And so basically what happened is that's where the South attempted to secede, nullification crisis, things like that. Jackson sends the army to the South to put them in check. This is impressment. So Coleman, hopefully you remember this now. Impressment, manning the Navy. So you can see that basically they're taking all the men and they're going to put them into the Navy. You can see all the poor wives, and this poor fat kid is going to lose his dad because of that. Okay, and again, we talked about this before. I have a TikTok to show you. I couldn't find it, but one day I will find it and I will send it out. Don't you worry. Okay, Cherokee Nation, Trail of Tears, Indian Removal Act. That's all that you can see right here. Again, if you get a Jackson one, I'm almost positive you're going to have a Trail of Tears. Gadsden Purchase, for all you people saying dirt and desert, you goobers. It's a Gadsden Purchase, last major land acquisition in the United States, continental, excluding Hawaii and Alaska. This is the Gadsden Purchase. It's not Tucson. Tushar, you're killing me here. Okay, election of 1828. Jackson, the spoils system. Remember, this is where Jackson heavily defeats John Quincy Adams in an extremely bloodbath race where both of them basically destroy each other. Remember, John Quincy Adams said that Jackson cheated on his wife, and he responded by saying that Adams was like a murderer of democracy, all this stuff. Adams called Jackson a murderer because of the Creek War, all these different things. But regardless, though, Jackson wins, and because of that, he institutes the spoils system in retaliation. Era of good feelings. So this is one that was used a couple years ago on the AP exam. Remember, the era of good feelings is basically post-War of 1812 through Jackson. This is where nothing really bad happens. Everybody is happy. They're really excited because they won the War of 1812. No more England. All these different things. Look at all these people. They're, playing stuff. There's a dog. Everybody's happy, go lucky. All these America, George Washington. And different things like that. Yes, they would definitely all get corona because they are not social distancing the way that they are supposed to, for sure. Hudson River School, thank you, Alexander. Embargo Act. Ogrambe is embargo spelled backwards. This is a tortoise, not a turtle. And remember, the Embargo Act is basically where America cut off trade to all European nations. And it ended up resulting in a major cause of the War of 1812. If you see the Non-Intercourse Act, the Non-Intercourse Act is where they lifted the embargoes on everybody but France and Britain, which basically immediately launched them into the War of 1812. So just remember, Ogrambe is always going to be embargo spelled backwards. It's not the Obama Act. Second Great Awakening. This guy loves Jesus so much he fainted. Battle of New Orleans, Andrew Jackson. Again, good HC for any sort of Jacksonian democracy is the fact that he was a massive hero, and because of that, he ends up winning. Trail of Tears. We're getting kind of low here. Slave trade, banning of the international slave trade, slave auction, things like that, abolition. Election of 1824 and the corrupt bargain. This is not Bernie Sanders. Please don't write that on the AP exam. Again, giving the Secretary of State over there. Missouri Compromise, shout out again to me blocking it here, but not before. Basically, slavery, great HC for any Civil War essay. This one is Mexican-American War. Not just war in general, but actual Mexican-American War. I'm getting towards the end, so it's kind of hard here. Steamboat, First Industrial Revolution, Market Revolution. Oops. So this one is the common man mentality. So this would be a great one for Jacksonian democracy. Do you guys remember the story I told you about that when Andrew Jackson was elected, he opened up the White House to have everybody come and party, and they totally trashed the White House, and it was a total rave. Do you guys remember that? And then they had horses pooping everywhere inside the house, and then there was dogs and all this random stuff at the White House. It's the idea of bringing in the common man. Everybody is involved in democracy. And he also does eliminate the requirement to be rich to be able to vote, although you still have to be white and male. Okay. This one is the Utopian Communities. Robert Owen, The New Harmony. This was the communist one. Basically communism and things like that. Anything utopian communities, the creation of the perfect society, things like that. Okay, and that is it. We went all the way through here. So here's basically what you need to know for period 4. Period 4 is a giant mess. It is like a bajillion different things all at once. They're all really super duper random. Remember that the topics, the 2 essay topics, are specifically about politics and political expansion. So as you read through each of these, think about how did politics change? How did they stay the same? Think about the political parties. So at this time, it's going to be converting from the anti-federalists and the federalists, converting over into the Democratic Republicans, as well as the Democrats, and then switching more and more into the Whigs and things like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Democrats. I meant to say the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans. Remember, the Federalists die with Alexander Hamilton. The Democratic Republicans rise until Andrew Jackson, which then creates the Whig Party and things like that. If you think of Whig, always think of Henry Clay. And if you think of that awesome picture of him and how his hair is super crazy, he needs a wig. So he is a Whig. That'll help you remember it. Okay. Anybody have any questions or anything like that? Again, period 4 I really feel confident that you should extra study period 4. They have not done a period 4 DBQ in a very, very long time, and I think it's a really good chance that period 4, this is the DBQ. I think it's going to be a Jackson-Jefferson. I think it's going to be a Jacksonian democracy or politics from 1800 1848 or immigration or westward expansion. That's what I think. Those are my 3 guesses. Okay. Dixia, I saw that you raised your hand. What's up? Arian, I saw that you raised your hand. What's up? It says you guys are all raising your hands. Are you coming to say hi? You can come say hi if you want. There's only 38 of them. No?
I'm tired.
I know you're tired. Okay. How do you find the videos for the reviews? They're on YouTube, so they're on our YouTube channel right now. And then also, if you go to the period whatever reviews, you can click on them. The lecture reviews there. The only one that is not is period 7, because we all know that that was a total disaster. So I did not record that anymore. And then, are you saying, how do you find the videos? Oh, for that, you just go to, if you search College Board's website, it should come up. And the one from today, should already be on there, because on YouTube, when they do live videos, it automatically becomes onto their playlist. So it should be available today just fine. I would just search on YouTube College Board, and then you should be able to find it just fine. Okay. In fact, I think now that I have less of you, the problem is I shouldn't really use the, yeah, it's not going to work. Oh my gosh.
I have a poll that I need.
You have a poll for them?
Yeah, but I need a pen.
Okay, Mark, if you're still here, Mark has a poll for you. I missed somebody. Somebody said they raised their hand. Do you have an opinion or a question? The College Board of the AP channel. So I'm trying to find it. I'll get off my TikTok compilations. I don't know. I don't know how to raise your hand. It says you've raised your hands. Everybody's raising their hands right now. So I don't know what the heck is going on with that. But so I just searched College Board. So do you guys see how it says live now? So if I really wanted to, I could do AP Spanish. Shout out to the College Board, by the way, for having all these celebrities, but none for AP US History. See, Gannett just did it. Dina just did it, although that's not Dina because it's actually Elsa and Henry. Unless it's their mom, which that would be cool too. Colin really is aggressive in raising his hand. So you can see right here. Okay, this is fun, guys. This was a fun activity. Thanks. Okay, so if you click on, so this is the live videos. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh, it's going crazy. If you guys rewatch this, can you guys see my screen still? Do you guys see what's happening? You guys are killing me. Okay, anyways, okay, well, look behind all these people doing this, and you can see somewhere's down here. It just says U.S. history, okay? They're raising their hand. They're being frustrating. They're being problem children. Okay, hold on. Let me end screen sharing, and then